Oceanigot Galele Jageto Kohig, Wade Blevins, Dawadon, Hia, Telagina Gine, RSU TV, we gonna know go, Kohig, Nugsko, he skine, Telagia de lo Costi. So, welcome. My name is Wade Blevins. This is Cherokee 4 here at RSU TV. Today is our 45th Cherokee lesson, I believe. So, remember the last time I think that we were together, we talked about Cherokee holiday, and we did a reading about Cherokee holiday and what they used to do, and Mary Catcher, right? So today we're going to go back to the comics that were translated in 1975, and we are going to look at High and Lois. So we're going to look at that comic that was done, and we're going to work with that for the next couple lessons. So, yeah, so come, Idalena Talagi de Wone. All right. So here is the cover of High and Lois. So in Cherokee, this is Siyo Ale Losi. So Siyo, of course, is hello or hi, Ale and Losi, which is Lois, okay, Losi. So this is the cover. Now, if you remember, the last time we did this, we had this same little paragraph talking about learning Cherokee and learning English. The intention of this comic was to do two things, because at the time this was written in the 70s, there were still quite a few monolingual Cherokee speakers, people who only spoke Cherokee, they didn't speak any English. So these comics were to help them learn English, and also this was to help speakers of English learn Cherokee. So I'm going to read this to you. I'm not going to translate it, okay? So just listen to it. The rough translation, of course, is there in the picture. But if you want to go back through and know exactly what it says, you can go back to lesson 32 or episode 32, because that's we talked about it there. So I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes to make your way through this, and then we're going to go through it together, okay? So I'll give you just a little bit. Okay, so this says, Jalagi Hia Digohele Uwolsta Didana Eastana Didana Eastana Ekayi Ayetleya Jalagi Ha Kano he tluska Ta lina no ayetlia Iga Yonega ha Kano he tluska Jalagino Yadedlogwa Yadelqua Na Jalagi ha Gowela Ekayi Hanelo Diskesti Jagoli di Ikatano de Jajosta ne hesti Kila Yonegaha Gowela Wigoli skesti Tlano dohiyu kanega. Udloye yinigan go way Aseno eliwo yo league niga weskai yo negano ya del qua halenerd galqua dusine uwanta de jikano he tlaska ekayi aye tlia higolia jakada jakta huska iga holka no leno na jindegan hia dugwanan dai hanelta idejaneti skigatu daladu josko sawo josko tal josko jon. Okay, so that's what that says. So like I said, just hopefully you were able to kind of follow along. As I said, on this side, it kind of gives the English. It's not exact, but it basically talks about the first half of the book being in Cherokee. The second half is then in English. So, and if you're wanting to learn Cherokee, you try to do the other part first and all of that, okay? So let's get into the new part. We're going to take a little bit of time. It's not really super long this time, so we should be able to do. We're getting better and better at this, right? So hopefully we're able to make our way through it reasonably quickly. All right? So what I've done this time is rather than do each individual panel, I've done each page. Okay? So I've done each page. So we're kind of loading ourselves with a little bit more to be responsible for at a time. And I know that this can seem very overwhelming to you. And we've talked about this before, even for myself, if I see an entire page with nothing but Cherokee on it, it intimidates me. But if we just take it one line at a time, it's not that hard. We just take it little bit by little bit, and before we know it, we've made our way through it. So I'll give you just a little bit to read this yourself and see how much of this you can figure out. Then I'll read it to you and we'll see how much we can make our way through, okay? Okay, so if you need more time, of course, you can pause it and you can make your way through it. But so let's read the title. So the title here, and I've written it here, says Siyo Ale Losi Na Unihyo. Okay, so Siyo, of course, is high, Ale, and Losi, Lois, Na Unihyo is like the search, okay? It means they're looking for it, right? The search. Unihyo, they're searching. Okay? This first panel, Dot, which is the daughter, she says, "We he ega agihyo ji si." Agiyojisi. Okay, so he ega. You might recognize the he part, this he ega. So you can see this one kind of threw me as well. You can see in the picture here, you can see that she's crying and she's pointing to her little bicycle, right? Hiega means this here that I am indicating. Okay, it means this thing right here that I'm talking about. Hiega. Okay, so it comes from hia, right? Hia, which means this. Hiega means this one right here. Okay, and of course she's pointing to it. Hiega. Agiyojisi. Agiyojisi. It means agiyojisi. It means it broke on me. Okay, so it means it broke on me. Okay, so agiyojisi. So it doesn't mean I broke it. It means it broke while I was using it, right? So hiega agiyojisi. Okay. And then hi says klestidi ha jadlo hila udadatli eliwu osta yinagayanisi. Okay. Yingayanisi. Okay. So klestidi ha, don't. Jadlo hila, don't cry. Okay. Udadatli, Dot. That's her name. Okay, remember we learned maybe in Cherokee 2 possibly, Judadatla means it's spotted, right? It means it's got spots. Udadatli means a dot. Udadatli. So, and of course that's her name in the comic strip is Dot. So they named her Udadatli. So, klestidi ha jadlo hila udadatli. So don't cry, Dot. Okay. Eliwu. Eliwu. Can. Osta. Good. Yinganayisi means I can maybe fix it for you. G, like you, I love you. So this is me to fix it for you. Okay. Yinganayisi. Yingayanisi. Okay, means maybe I can fix it for you. Okay. So maybe I can fix it good for you. Okay, the next one is a little bit long, so let's take a little bit. Okay, this says, no gu dun, no dun, yi jala go zhang, yi jala go zhang, had lo hi, huh? Dikadula gesti, dikadula gesti, yi di giyala, yitagiyala osta, ale, yitajetla, yingayanisi. Okay, so nota means now. Yijalagoja means if you stop, if you cease, if you quit it. Yijala Yijala goja hadlo yiha. If you quit crying, okay. Diga dula gesti. Diga dula gesti is we think. I spoke to a lot of speakers about this. Nigadula geisti. Nigadula geisti. Okay, Nigadula geisti is all of the speakers agreed that it's a tool of some kind. Okay. So what kind of tool it is, no one could decide. Now, some speakers said, well, it's something to turn with. It's something that you use to turn with. Other speakers were like, well, and they all kind of agree that that's what it is. And so some of them were like, well, maybe that's a screwdriver. And then others said, well, maybe that's pliers. Because, of course, you can use both a screwdriver and you can use pliers to turn something with, right? What most people use today for a screwdriver, udikwala de yid is usually what they use for a screwdriver now, and pliers, digania toti. So that means like digania toti is like something that you grab onto something with, something that you grab with, okay? Because of course that's another use for pliers. So based on, so it's either pliers or it's a screwdriver, but it's something used to turn with, okay? Yidaki yala is yidaki yala. I'm gonna find it. Agi yala. I'm gonna. So then the yi is if. So if I can find a pliers, or if I can find a tool, or if I can find a screwdriver, osta, good, ale, and yita jetla, and better, yingayanisi, I'll fix it. Okay, so I can fix it better. Okay, so, and then of course down here she's just says okay. So what's going on here, of course, is that Dot's tricycle broke, and she went crying about it, and her dad was like, well, don't cry, maybe I can fix it for you. And he's like, now, if you'll stop crying, I'll go find a tool, and I'll fix it better, okay? I'll make it better for you, okay? So let's read through this page. All right? So, siyo ale losi na unihyo ha'i. When he ega agio hisi agio jisi klestidi jadlo hila udadatli eliwo osta yinaga yingayanisi. Nobuta yi jalagoja yi jalagoja hadlo hi ha. Dikadula ge yisti yidagi yalla osta ale yidajetla yinigaya nisi right? Okay, let's go through it one more time. Sio ale losi na uni hyoha'i. We hi ega agiyo jisi. Tlestidi han chatlo hila udadatli eliwu osta yingana nisi yingayanisi noda yi jalgoja yijalagoja hadlo hiha dikadula ge yisti yidagi yalla osta ale yidajetla yinigayanisi okay. All right, let's look at and see what happens on the next page. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to read through this on your own and see how much of this you can understand. Okay, so the first one says, awadlo yisti utli nagwaduli. Okay, so awadlo yisti means me to cry, okay, for me to cry, okay. Utli, usually utli means away or far off or at a distance, or it can be to an extent, okay? And then of course, nawaduli, if you know the word awaduli, means I want it. So this udli nawaduli is like I would rather, okay? So udli nawaduli is I would rather. Okay, nawaduli means I want. Udli nawaduli means I would rather. Okay, so awadlo yisti, I would rather cry, is what she's saying. She's like, I'd rather cry, right? Because he was trying to get her to stop crying, and she thought about it, and she's like, no, I'd rather cry about it. And so then he says to his older son, I think his name is Chip, if I remember correctly, Dini yotli tla ilahi yu yi do de go li ji. Yi do de go li ji. Okay. I guess you would say it that way. Dini yotli means children. Tla ilahiyu, never. Tla ilahiyu. Yi do de golji, or yi do de goliji, means they don't ever understand. Okay? So children never understand is how I would translate it, and that's how the other speakers that I spoke to, that's how they would translate it. So then here, says, Hardla, Dikadula de Yagisti. Okay, Dikadula de Yagisti. Achuj. So where Dikadula de Yagisti. And I believe that these are pliers. Okay. Again, this is another word. This is a word that none of the speakers that I spoke to were familiar with, but based on the context of the whole comic and the pictures, I think it is pliers, okay? So, Achuj, of course, is boy, so he's like, boy, where are the pliers? Nihi jidehi do jidehi ni doha jidehi ni doha jidehi doha. That makes more sense to me. Jidehi doha. Nihi, you. Jidehi doha. I gave them to you. Okay. It was you that I gave them to. Okay. Or you, well, actually, it's you had them. Okay, it was you that had them. Nihi jide ni doha. It was you that had them. And he says, si, tlada, yigana.de. Yigana.de. Okay. So si, he's like, well, or wait. Usually we translate that si means wait. Tlada, don't. Yigana.de. I don't remember. Okay. Yigana.de. I don't remember. Yigana.de. I don't remember. Okay. Then down here, Hadan dele, Hanadada. Some people say Hanadadi, some people say Hanadada, or some people say Hanadad. Okay, Jedola, Jihadadolu nuga. Jihadadolu nuga. Geda, Ilka, Jahikitla. Okay, so Jahikitla. That makes more sense. So he says, Hadandali means think about it, okay? Hadan, to think. Hadandali is think about it. Hanadada, remember. Hanadada, you remember. Jedola, where you've been. Jihadadolu nuga means where you've been, okay? Like where you've gone back to. Like go back to where you've been, okay? Get done. It's like, I think, or, it's like, okay, get done. Ilka, tree. Chaikitla, I was up in a tree, okay? The tree that I was in, okay? Remember we talked about that word ukitla, right? Ukitla means to be perched up on something with your feet hanging off, right? So he was up in a tree is what this indicates right here. Chaikitla. So awadlo yisti udli nawaduli dini yotli tla ilahiyu yido dagolichi hadla dikadula deya gisti atuta nihi jidehi do jidehni doha jidehni doha si tlada yigana dati hadan deli hana data jedola jihada dolu nuga geta ilka jaikila. Let's go through that again. Awadlo yisti udli nawaduli dini yotli tla ilahiyu yi dodagoliji hadla dikadula de yagisti atuta nihi jide ni doha si tlada yigana dada hadan dele hana dada jedola jihada dolu nuga geda ilka jakitla. All right, the next one. I'll give you just a few seconds to read through it. All right, let's read through it together. So he says, Tlada ahani yidatla. Okay, yidatla or yidatla. Tlada means no. Ahani yidatla. Here, yidatla, it's not placed here. It's not laying here. It's not up on here, okay? Datla means to be laying up on something. For something that's not alive to be laying up on something else. So like if something's laying on a table or something like that, datla means it's laying on a table, okay? So it says, Tlada ahani yidatla. So, no, it's not here. And he says, Tlada hadlana ujatin heda. Okay? So, Tlada, he was like, no. Hadlana, and then where? Ujatin, and then where off somewhere, head on, where were you at next, right? So where else were you? Then he says, nada usadon dija jagwale wishtana jidagwane lona Dawane lona. Okay, so he says nada, the usadon, the pipe, dg usadon is just something that's hollow, something you can get inside, right? dg it means you can get into it, right? Jagwale wish tana, I stop Dogwale Wishtana. I stopped there. G Dogwane Lona to play. I stopped to play in that pipe. So he says, Tladin ahani ye dig along. So it says, no, here it's not in it, okay? And this ye dig along it's in something that's long, that has a length to it, okay? So that's why we didn't use the word, or that they didn't use yitatl, yitigala, means to be inside something that has some length, okay? Tladin ahani yitigala. Then Chip says, Nada uweti didanela jijiya. Okay, so it says the old house that I was in. Okay, ashi maybe ahani maybe here nijiluka no jagesa maybe maybe we'll really this niji lugan means I didn't go back there to Gesa, and that's what all the speakers said too. But the translation Ashi ahani niji lugan no Gesa is like maybe we'll go back there, okay? And then down here at the bottom says Tlada o siyik hia jini nadane. Tlada no osi, not all right, yik, it's not okay. Hia this ni jini nadane. It's not all right to be doing this, is what this is saying. So he's like, I don't think we should be doing this. Tlada o siyik hia jini nadane. Okay, it's not okay to do this, you know, because they're climbing up into somebody's house, right? Aguantata. He was like, yeah, I know. Ganye yege yehena. Ganye. Oh, this should be gi. Ganye gehena. Ganye gehena means it's really scary, you know, it's scary. Ganye gehena. This should not be ye. Here, this should be gi, because we can see it right here. Ganye gehena. Hena. Okay. Ganye gehen means it's really scary. So let's read through this one again. It says, Tlada ahani yidatla. Tlada hatlana ujatin heda. Nada ushadon dijiya. Jagwale huishtana. Jidagwane lona. Tlada ahani yidigala. Nada uweti didanela jijiya. Ashi ahani nijilugan jagesa. Tlada osiyik hia jini nadane. Jini nadane. Aguantata ganyegi hen. Okay, the next one, give you just a few minutes to read through that. Okay, so this says, Nikana Suladan Gini Gini Yiga. Gini Yiga. So Nika means all over. Nikana Suladan means every room. Kana Sul is a room, right? And so they mash those two words together, Nika and Kana Sula. So Nikana Suladan means every single room. Gini Higa, the two of us have looked. So the two of us have looked in every room. Okay? Nikana Suladan Gini Higa. Gini Higa. So we've looked we've looked in every room. And so then Chip says, Nada o ginali juena sa jige doha. So it says, then I was over at my friend's house. Oginali, my friend, Juena, so his place. Jige doha, I was out that I was there. So then I was over at my friend's place. And then this guy with the shotgun and the beard, he says, Gago, aya, who is in here, right? Gog, aya, who's in here? And so then he shoots at him, and they run and they jump the fence. You can see in this one. And then he says, Klada una yi jiya klaka. And this is another one that kind of doesn't make sense. Klada una yi jiya. I wasn't there, is what that says. I wasn't in there. Klaka means, isn't that right? I wasn't there, isn't that right? So, and then the dad goes, Hatlana, no, now where, right? Now where? Okay, and then jiwagi yuda, jiwagi losa, jahidiya hano. Okay, jiwagi yuda is the right way. Jiwagi yuda, jiwagi losa. I went back. Jiwagi losa. I went back. Jahidiya hano. Then it was easier. It's easy because it's easy. Okay, so jiyukti yuda jiwagi losa jahidiya hano. So I went this way because it was easier. And then he asks, they're climbing this big old cliff, and he says, Doskoha ahidiya. It's like, is this really easier, right? Is it really easy? So let's read through this one together. Nikana sulada gini higa. Nada oginali juena sa jigedoha. Gago ahya. Klada una yijiya klaka. Hatlana no. Jiyukti yuda jiwagilosa jahidiya heno. Doskoha ahidiya. Okay, last one. I think we got time. We got a few minutes left, and I think we can make our way through it. I'll give you just a few minutes to look through it. Okay. So this says, Ahanda jagilosa. Here's the way that I went. Okay, Ahanda Jagilosa. I went this way. Okay. Ayata diginenasa wigaluka. Me too. Our diginenasa, our place. We got Luke. Return to our place. And then he says, Nowuda gana dada. So he says, now I remember. Nowuda gana dada. Now I remember. Nihi jitega dela. You, I gave it. I gave it to you. I gave it to you. And then he's like, do you done? He's like, oh yeah, for real. Ayano, gadoskina, daguanele. So he was like, and what about me? What did I do with him, right? Gadoskina, daganele. What did I do with him? Okay. See, he's like, well, Didanatna, the store, Jiwaga Dola. I went down to the store. Yug, Giadagiya, I went, Yug are nails, Giadagiya, and I went to get them. So he's like, well, store, I went down to get some nails. I went down to the store to get some nails, okay? So, and then of course we see in the picture that the pliers have been in his pocket this entire time, right? So, so here he blamed his kid, and they went all over looking for it, and he's still looking for it. And of course, we've all done that, right? We've lost something, and it's been right there the whole time. I would lose my glasses all the time, and they'd be, on top of my head, or they'd be on my face, So that's the whole point, I guess, of this this little comic. There's some really, really great vocabulary in it. Things like, I don't remember, I remember, where'd you put them, they're laying on something, So we're just about out of time, but we just had time to go through it. So I encourage you to go back through it, listen to it a few more times. Try to say it yourself, try to work your way through it. As you can tell, the more you read, the better you get at it, the more fluid you get at it. So I just want to say from all of us here at RSU TV and Cherokee Nation, Wadon and Chadak Sauce Dest.